Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Lori Schulte. Thanks for joining us. First, we bring you the buzz for the week of February 25th through March 3rd. The city received great results after conducting a citizen survey last year, but there was one area for concern: streets. In the last 3 years, street condition ratings have dropped. In 2012, 56% of people who were surveyed said the roads were in excellent or good condition. By 2014, that number dropped to 36%. In an effort to identify the reason behind the lower ratings, another 3,000 surveys were sent out in the mail last fall. That survey focused solely on roads. The results yielded higher approval ratings the second time around. Numbers jumped back to what they were in 2012. The reason for the change? Public Works Director Carl Keel says timing plays a role.
In large part, people's opinion about how the streets are has to do with the time of year. The original surveys were done in the April time frame, and if you recall the last few years, we had very long winters and we are way into pothole season in April. And so I think people were very much frustrated with winter and with the condition of their streets. In the fall, potholes were filled, and I think people's attitudes about our streets were much better.
Keel says the pavement management program allows the city to keep detailed records of street conditions. This ensures reconstructs and overlays are being done on roads in need of improvement. Keel did add that challenges lie ahead as prices for roadway work rise following the recession. He says Public Works is looking into ways to increase funding or reallocate money for street repairs. Bloomington has long been a hot spot for hotels, and this year, almost 1,000 new rooms will be added.
Hotels like Bloomington because it's close to the airport, it's close to the mall, and for a lot of the hotels that are centered around light rail in the South Loop area by the mall, you can hop on the light rail train and go downtown.
Port Authority Administrator Shane Redling says Bloomington has more hotels than downtown Minneapolis and St. Paul combined. Currently, the city has 8,300 hotel rooms, and 970 additional rooms are in the pipeline. Redling says extended stay hotels are becoming more popular. One is being built at the Penn American Project, another near the Mall of America. Upscale hotels like the Radisson Blu are also becoming more common. The JW Marriott at the Mall of America will cater to that same clientele. While this may seem like a lot of new hotel development, Redling says it's on trend with Bloomington's typical addition of 150 rooms a year. He says some hotels were wiped out when a runway was built at the airport in the early 2000s, and these projects will build up the market again. That's positive for Bloomington residents because of the lodging tax and other businesses hotels support. Finance officials say the lodging tax brings in about $7 million a year. If that money wasn't available, property taxes would probably increase to fill that gap.
It's a really good thing for Bloomington. It brings in a lot of money from other places. And so if you're a resident of Bloomington, it's just a really good thing.
The first week of March is National Consumer Protection Week, and local police want residents to learn how to protect themselves from scams and fraud. Investigator Don Ricks says seniors often fall victim to this type of crime. He says scams are usually carried out by phone, mail, or email. Common scenarios involve scammers asking for additional information for taxes or money to help a loved one. To protect yourself, Rick says residents should sign up for the National Do Not Call list. There's also a National Do Not Mail or Email list. For more information on different resources, you can visit the website ncpw.gov. Rick says if you do become a victim, don't hesitate to call the Bloomington Police.
Don't be embarrassed by it. We do want to know about it because even if it's not possible for us to investigate it if it occurred in another country, it certainly is possible for us to track it and give it to the right authorities so they can keep track of it and perhaps take some action down the road.
You can contact the Bloomington Police Department by calling the number on your screen. February is Black History Month, and the Human Rights Commission and Historical Society hosted a presentation to celebrate.
Today we do recognize the courageous slaves who sought their freedom and the individuals who were involved in the anti-slave movement that collectively defied the law.
At Old Town Hall, people gathered to hear from Deb Meyer. She's not an expert, but she gave a presentation on the quilts of the Underground Railroad. She says people have different opinions on whether the Freedom quilts are fact or fiction, but she presented some information to let the audience decide. Some say the quilts helped communicate messages to slaves escaping to freedom. For example, she says this square means to the crossroads. She says the crossroads represented a city that was a safe place. The first time this type of quilt code was mentioned was in 1987. Meyer says the code does lack evidence. She says early testimony from slaves never included talk of the quilts.
When I first read this, I believed this as historical fact. I like to believe this because it is a wonderful message. It's a wonderful message of hope and connecting symbols. But is it an urban legend?
Regardless of the story's truth, Meyer says it's still a great story to share and debate. That is The Buzz on Bloomington Today for the week of February 25th through March 3rd. If you would like to watch other stories from the show, go to this week's playlist. There you'll find a story about Vexillar Inc. It's based in Bloomington. Hear why their #1 product has been so successful. And you'll also find a piece on the next exhibit at the gallery inside Civic Plaza. We introduce you to one of the artists. Thanks so much for watching.